All right, today we are doing the test review. We have the test tomorrow, so I just want to do a couple of each to make sure you're ready. Very few people have been watching it, so it is what it is, okay? If you're watching, thank you. That means you want to be ready for tomorrow, okay? So the first part, identify the attributes of the following polynomials: positive, negative, odd, even, and number of roots. Let's look at number 2 and number 3. It should be easy. For number 2, make sure you can see it. Literally, you don't have to look past the first term, okay? That 5 is a positive or negative, it's negative. All right, and then to find out whether it's odd or even, we look at the highest exponent. The highest exponent is to the third. 3 is odd. And how many roots? The highest exponent, it is 3 roots. And we're done. There should be no reason to miss those questions on the test. Those are basically free points. If you miss those, that means you either went too fast or you didn't know what you were doing. It's that simple. Negative, odd, 3 roots. Okay, you don't have to look past the first term. Number 3, what is it? Look at the 8b squared. It's negative. To the second, it's even because the exponent is 2 and it's 2 roots. And we're done. Those should take 5 seconds. All right. So that takes care of that. Let's move on. It says, for the following, determine if the binomial is a linear factor of the polynomial. This is where your answer is yes or no. This is all you have to do. Do synthetic division. If you get a remainder at the end, the answer is no. So if you get a remainder, the answer is no. If you do not get a remainder, which means it equals 0, then the answer is yes. So same steps. We do synthetic division. Synthetic division is the quicker, easier one. So we take this number, do the opposite outside of here. That's a 9. Then we write out the coefficients at the top. Okay, so a cubed, that's 1, then negative 11, then 25, then negative 63. Okay? Then we drop down the first coefficient, and then we multiply the outside. 9 times 1 is 9. 11 plus 9, negative 11 plus 9 is negative 2. And then we continue on. 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. All right. 25 minus 18 is 7. Then 9 times 7 is 63. Negative 63 plus 63 is 0. Okay, from here, we don't even have to write out the answer. We see the last number is 0. The last number is going to be our remainder. So because our remainder is 0, there's no remainder. So our answer is yes. Okay, if you need to see another one like that, just rewind the video and watch it again. It shouldn't be that bad, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. It is a review, okay, so I'm not going to do every single one. We don't have to turn in the review today. It's just up to you whether you want to do it and be ready. Okay. All right. Factor each of the following. And remember, step 1 is take out the GCF if there is one. So as we can see, I want y'all to use common sense tomorrow on the test. It's multiple choice. So if you see A, B, C, and D all have 2 in the front, what do you think the GCF is? It's 2. So let's work through it together. So 32x squared minus 50, we know 2 is on the outside. Let's see what's left. 16x squared, because 32 divided by 2 is 16, minus 50 divided by 2 is 25. That's easy. They're both factorable. They're both difference of perfect squares. Tomorrow on the test, you're going to get a question. It's called scaffolding, which means you're going to see this equation, for example, twice. The first question will say, which one do you use? Difference of squares, difference of cubes, sum of cubes, or factoring by grouping. Because you see this, there's a difference, and they're 2 perfect squares, you know it's difference of squares, okay? So we take out the GCF, we have 16x squared minus 25. Again, the steps here, we know our final answer is going to be a plus b times a minus b. Okay, all we need to do is find out what a and b are. How do we do that? We're basically going to square root this. The square root of 16 is 4. The square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 25 is 5. So there's our a, and there's our b. One is going to be 4x plus 5. The other one is going to be 4x minus 5. And and then don't forget the 2 is in front. Which answer is that? That is A. And we're done. So remember, after you factor out the GCF, if it is difference of 2 squares, all you do is basically square root what is left. The square root of 16 is 4, square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 25 is 5. And from there, you plug it in. It's going to be A plus B times A minus B. You should get the same numbers every single time. All right. Moving on. We're to sum of cubes. Like I said, we're hitting the 6-minute mark. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but there's a little trick to sum of cubes and difference of cubes. And it's going to be very helpful because this is addition. This is multiple choice, sorry. Okay, bell's done. This is multiple choice. So the answer every single time when you do sum of cubes, it's going to start with a plus and then go minus plus. But even if we just look at the first one, whatever it starts with, whatever is in the problem, the answer is going to start with that. So immediately, we can get rid of A and we can get rid of C. Now all we're left with is B and D. But again, using your common sense, when we find the sum of cubes, the answer is plus minus plus. So without even doing any math, we know the answer is D because plus minus plus. This would never be the answer, okay? Plus minus plus. See how easy that was? I didn't even really do any math. The answer all the time will be plus minus plus. All right, moving on. Looking at number 13, the answer is plus minus plus. So again, B, C, and D are all out because this one just has one plus. It should be plus minus plus. So the only possible answer is A. We see how that works? Hopefully, okay? If you want to do it the long way, you can. All right? All right, sorry, y'all. Someone stopped by as always. Let's move on. So difference of cubes, we see right here, it's number 15a cubed minus 216. There's a pattern just like sum of cubes. This one goes, it starts with it, just like earlier, it goes minus, plus, plus. Again, if you remember this pattern, you always get it right. So we see 3 of the 4 start with minus, so it could be A, B, or C. D is automatically out. A is out because it needs to go minus, plus, plus. It needs to be long, okay? It should have 3 different ones, minus, plus, plus. We see C is out because that looks like a difference of 2 squares. It's not long enough, okay? So we're left with B. Guys, you can literally use this pattern on the test and get a 100. Work smarter, not harder. That's what I've been telling my face-to-face students. It is what it is, okay? Moving on. Factor the following by grouping. All right. There's also a little trick to this too. You can't get the answer every single time like this, like how we just earlier narrowed it down to 1 and immediately got the answer. But you can help eliminate, okay? Here, we see the last number is -7, correct? So the last 2 numbers here should multiply to be -7. So A and B both multiply to be -7. But if you look, C and D, -7 times -7 is positive 49. That's too big. So we know we already got it down to A and B. From here, you're going to have to actually do a little bit of math. Sorry, it is a math test. So, all right. So group them together. Here, I want us to use common sense. Which one of these looks easier to find the GCF and factor it out? The first one or the second one? The second one. So we're going to do that one. 14a minus 7. Let's find the GCF. The greatest common factor. That means the highest number or highest term both of those can be divided by. That answer is 7. Okay? Because 7 can go into 14 and 7 can go into 7. So let's see what is left. 14 divided by 7 is 2. The A stays, and then -7 divided by 7 is -1. Okay? This is where I want us to stop and look. We know, according to my notes and all the practice we've done, we know that whatever we factor out with 12 a cubed minus 6a squared. The GCF will be here, right? We don't know what that is yet. But on the inside, what will it be? Well, we know it has to be the exact same as up here. So it's going to be 2a minus 1. So this is where I said you can work backwards. If you know what it's supposed to be inside, then you can write it down there, okay? Now from here, we just need to see how do we get from 12a cubed to 2a, okay? And this is where we just divide 12a cubed divided by 2a. All right, what is that? 12 divided by 2 is 6. A cubed divided by a1 is a2. So there's our GCF. Do not get confused on how I did that. I'm telling you, since we found up here what's inside the parentheses, we're going to just put it here because they have to match. Then from there, we take the first term and the first term inside here and divide them to figure out what the GCF is. So it's 6a squared. Then finally, we look over at the answers, and we're going to combine the outsides. So 6a squared plus 7 is one of our answers, and then 2a minus 1 is our other answer. So what is the answer? The answer is B. All right, that is the way I do it. That's the easiest way to do factor by grouping. All right. So let's see if that is it. Let's go down. Yep, all the rest are just factor by grouping. So again, I just showed you factoring by grouping. I showed you the tricks for difference and sum of perfect cubes. All right, and remember on the test, it's going to literally give you an option like this and say, what do you use to solve it? Do you use difference of squares, difference of cubes, grouping, or sum of cubes? Literally, it's a minus, so you know it's difference. And this is a cube, so difference of cubes. Please don't miss that on the test. It's that simple. All right? If you see an addition and you see a cube, it's sum of cubes. And scrolling up, if you see a minus and you see a square, it's difference of squares. Those should be 3 points as well. Again, here, do synthetic division. If you get a remainder, the answer is no. If you don't get a remainder, the answer is yes. And then lastly, these should be 3 points as well. Negative, odd, 3 roots. All right. So again, if you just know little things, if you know those tricks I taught you, if you listen to this video, you should get a 100 tomorrow, no matter who you are. All right. Good luck on the test. Y'all will do great.